mission to be what I'm destined to be. Whoa, whoa, hey, whoa. I done been through the pain and the sorrow, the struggle is nothing but love. Nothing but love. I'm a soldier, a rider, a ghetto survivor, and all the above. All the above.
Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? It's your boy Anthony Nazario coming back with this week's episode of Gifted Enlisted. I want to talk to you guys this week about something that I am very passionate about, something that has personally held me back for a very long time. I think that these podcasts and these videos that I keep putting out are actually a sign of progress that I continue to keep working towards this one specific thing that a lot of people actually are held back by. The one giant thing that a lot of people won't try and progress forward just because of a one key feature, one thing that people just don't want to get through. They don't want to break through that wall. They don't want to make that leap because of this one giant thing. The one giant thing that I'm speaking of, it starts with F. It's the F word, fear. Fear is what I'm talking about. There are many years in my life that I lived with fear, and I think that it becomes something that has actually come from the way that I was raised and what could happen if you do something wrong, against the law, going against authority, not only the law, but I mean like school, work, society. However, as we're children and we begin to grow up and we incorporate these lessons that we've learned in life, we then have those solid foundation of values that continue to shape us into the people who we are, but then without us actually knowing, they can actually hold us back. And fear is one of those things. Now, many people are not in prison or in jail, and if you have been and you've come out of the system, then you know that there are many lessons to be learned by, going against things that are wrong. However, when I speak of fear, I'm not talking about going against things that we're not supposed to do. I'm saying redefining boundaries. Changing the game, not actually falling into the ultimate, box that we like to, paint ourselves into and say, oh, well, I have to get the 4-year degree. Oh, I have to go to get my master's degree. I have to get in entry level and work my way all the way to the top. I got to do X, Y, Z. No, that's not it. We're talking about breaking through your fears and doing something, because ultimate level is what we're trying to get to, is our fulfillment and happiness. Getting to where we want to be on a daily basis so that we live the best life that we could possibly live without any remorse, without any regret, so that at the end of the day, when you're sitting there and it is your final hours upon you and you look back, you have that giant smile on your face and you say, you know what? I rocked it the fuck out. I did things the way I wanted to do. People tried to hold me back. I just continued to progress forward. That's ultimately what I'm talking to you guys about today. Fear is something that has prevented me from asking girls out, taking chances that are calculated, not really smart. And in addition to that, holding me back from living certain adventures in life that I never actually got the opportunity to. There's a funny story that I want to share with you, and this is something that from a child, this is how fear kind of ruined something that a lot of children would like to do when they're younger. And then I overcame this fear, and now I actually love this portion of my life. When I was a freshman in high school in New York, I went on a huge trip with the school to Six Flags Great Adventure. I was deathly afraid of roller coasters, and nobody knew that I was actually, attending the trip with, but I always managed to bullshit my way out of going on to the roller coasters because of my fear. I never actually progressed forward. I let that prevent me from having an awesome time. Now, I'm going to fast forward. Now, not at any point in time during that day did I actually ride one fucking roller coaster. Not one roller coaster did I ride at the age of 14, 15 years old, right? So, years later, I am 23 years old. My buddy Renee and I end up driving to San Diego when I was living in Arizona, and we got drunk on the gas lamp, like 23-year-old dudes do. His dad lived in San Diego, and the next morning we woke up. We were kind of drunk, but the night before we were like, fuck it, we're going to go to Six Flags in the morning. We're going to go to Six Flags. We're going to do this. Now, I had never ridden a roller coaster in my life, period. We went to Six Flags. The next day, I don't know if it was due to the fact that I was a little groggy-headed or what, but my buddy Renee and I got to Six Flags. First ride that we rode was Batman the Ride, one of the rides that was actually brand new back in the day. I rode it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. There was fear leading up to the moment when I actually was getting on the ride, when I was getting that strapped in. I was sitting there, you're standing up, you don't know what to expect. You got all these things racing through your mind. Bam, you take off. And at that very moment when I was going through it, nobody else was on the ride, keep in mind. It was my buddy Renee and I were just the only two morons riding this ride because it's one of the oldest ones. But we're screaming, we're smiles on our faces, we're having a great time. But at the same time, in that moment, I overcame a giant fear that I had of everything that had been associated with falling and dying off the ride malfunctioning, getting hurt, throwing up, passing out, anything like that. All of those were dispelled because I mustered up the gumption to be able to go forward and get that shit done. To this day, I like riding roller coasters. And there's a lot of things in life that I feel like at 38 years of age now that I've missed out on because of the fact that I haven't taken the opportunity to look on the opposite side of fear. Will Smith has a video on YouTube where he talks about going out with his friends the night before. They're having dinner, they're having a good time. And then he talks about going skydiving. I encourage you to go check that video out. And he talks about how leading up to the moment that everybody's kind of like BSing, oh yeah, we're going to be there, Will, we're going to be there, and they're in the basement. The lobby of the hotel, and then they get there. And, he's terrified. He didn't think that everybody else was going to show up, but everybody else is game. Up to the very moment that they're all sitting there strapping in, going through everything, they get to that point, and he realizes, I'm about to jump out of a perfectly good airplane and get, to do this. And basically, he jumps out the plane and he talks about the incredible feeling, the incredible experience, everything that was associated prior to that moment was gone. That's the one thing I really want you guys to focus on. There are a lot of things in life that you wish you could do or things that you want to do, but you haven't done. Think of how much of our lives we're robbing ourselves from. We only get one chance at life, and we shouldn't never live it with regret. On the opposite side of failure is wisdom. I saw this thing where it said failure is the first attempt in learning. Wisdom is always something that you keep, you can share. It's a powerful tool that can never be overcome. It's something that no one can ever take from you, that you can learn from and use in the future. I just want everybody to live their best life possible. I am not someone who has lived the best life because of fear holding me back. It's not because of not being able to. It's because of me holding and restraining back. And I don't want you guys to do that. There's certain areas of your life that you should exercise some restraint. But in taking advantage of opportunities that could lead to life-changing things in your life, like starting a business venture, starting a blog, attending a class to learn something new, anything new, different, something that would benefit you, jump feet first and try it. What is the worst that could happen? Nothing is going to hold you back. And with those experiences, you could share that with other people. Isn't that what life is all about? Is about sharing, caring, being nice to your fellow man, taking the most advantage of everything that we have here in this one life, in this one moment. Do what you can with what you have, because you never know when it's going to be taken from you. It's just something that, when you really look back, and if you go to retirement homes and you talk to people, there's a lot of people that wish they could go back and do things differently. And that's something that I hope to change going forward. And I mean, I'm not too old to do that, and I encourage you to do that. So take a step out, do something different this week, be adventurous, and just throw caution to the wind and see where it leads you. I hope this week everybody is great. You guys are always awesome. I love you. Thanks for your support. If you like this video and you think that it brought something new to your eyes and it gave you the opportunity to do something different, please comment below, share, like this with people. I'm trying to grow this to be the biggest thing that I have possibly been a part of, and that's all that matters. I'm not trying to do anything that I wouldn't want you guys to do, and I want us to maximize everything that we have in our lives. Once again, I love you guys. Thank you for your support. Peace. One love.